Have you ever wondered why some people seem to launch their businesses so quickly while others are stuck in the planning and the doubting for like weeks, sometimes even years on end? The difference isn't luck. The only thing that the people who get going are doing is that they are testing their ideas quickly and getting feedback very quick. So it's not a luck thing. It's just about not allowing the overthinking and the self-doubt to take over. You have a list of things that you're really good at and love doing. That is completely amazing. Love that for us, okay? But now it is time for us to get real and really figure out what on your list, what will people actually pay for? What does the market actually want? We're going to do that with this lesson. We're going to dive deep. We're going to ask really honest questions. You're going to have to be so radically honest with yourself and get to the point of, are you building a business or are you trying to make money? Because yes, one can lead to the other, but the other doesn't really need the one to even happen. So for example, if you just want money, there are so many ways to just have money. But if you want to build something that's real, something that's sustainable, something that you are here to offer the world, then we're going to have to ask some really clarifying questions. And this week's lesson is all about that. I need you to be honest. The more honest you are in this session, like on this part of the building, it'll make all the other steps easier. Okay, so just be really honest with yourself. You're not supposed to be perfect. Please get that through your head. You're not supposed to be perfect. We're doing and refining as we go. Okay, so your answers don't need to be perfect. We're going to refine as we go. Okay, so we're building the offer this week. I'm going to hit you with 5 really hard questions that you're going to have to sit with, and you are going to clarify. Okay, so to the people who were here last week, and if you weren't here last week, I suggest you go to the video. First start with last week's video and then come on to this one. So last week you wrote down your skills, your passions, and we looked at the overlap between the two, and that's where we were like, that's the beginning, the potential beginning of your business. Today we're going to shift outwards. Okay, so today we're looking at what the market wants. We're going to get very clear about what problems are you actually solving. Are people motivated to fix the problem that you're solving? I do want to be clear that this part is very uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable. It can be really confronting when you have to look at whether what you're good at and what you love doing. When you actually have to get honest about, does anyone want this? Like immediately, does anyone want this immediately, right? So we're gonna dig deep, okay? We need radical honesty to these questions, and you're going to feel so much better for it, because the clearer you become about what your offer is, the easier it is to talk about what your offer is to everyone else. Hope that makes sense. So let's jump into the first question, okay? And then, as always, I really do prefer that you pause the video and answer the question, reflect on the question, answer it, get a piece of paper, have it on the side, and then at the end, you can put it all together and put it in the chat, in the comments, I mean. But please do pause the video and do the work. It just makes it easier, because people don't go back. And if you don't do these steps correctly or with the time, you don't use the time to actually interrogate yourself so you get very clear about what you're doing, it's just time wasting. And I don't want you to be watching these just for vibes. We're not watching this for vibes. We're watching this, we're doing the work so that at the end of everything, you've got something substantial, something you feel good about, okay? That's very important. And asking yourself these kinds of questions gets you to a point where you believe in your offer. And so that's why we're doing all of this. Okay, so let's go to the first question. Okay, radical honesty. We need to get clear before we move right along and start businesses and then be caught up being a hot mess later. So let's go to our first question. Question one, if I offered this today, could I find five people who would buy it in the next 30 days? Or would I have to convince them it's important? This is such an important question to ask. It's also very clarifying because if you feel like you can't find five people in the next 30 days to offer this service to, it might mean you need to refine your offer. It might mean you need to think about having a different target audience. The example here is like, let's say you want to go into catering, right? If you have to find five clients in 30 days in a catering situation, this might change the target audience that you go to. So if you need to find five, you might think maybe it's time for you to consider offering your business to corporate, to companies, because they have these many things that happen quite often where they've got board meetings with different companies and different clients, and they need the catering on a more regular basis. So it might change who you decide to make your target audience. So as always, please pause, write your answer to this, take in the question, think about it, and just pause here. Okay, before you move on to the next question. Again, it's very important because it makes it easier for you to, by the time the video ends, that you're also just done with the exercise, because it's very hard as moms, it's very hard to keep coming back to something. So just pause the video and then I will meet you in question two. Question two, is my offer solving a painful, urgent problem, or is it just something that would be nice for people to have? Another clarifying question. I reminded you, or I'm reminding you, you need to be so honest with yourself. Um, And if it's a nice to have, it's good to know that because that could affect how you market it. Um, that would mean that it's something you need to really find an audience for, as opposed to maybe if you were selling bread, or toilet paper. These are things that people you don't need to explain to people. It's not a nice to have. It's literally something that is needed in the household all the time. But if you are thinking of opening a mobile spa, it's not a painful and urgent problem for everybody. And so it means you might need to work extra hard figuring out how to speak to the clientele who find needing to get a massage every week an urgent and painful problem. You need to figure out how you reach those people. But get clear, look at your list, look at the things that are there, the things that you love doing and the things that you know how to do. And be honest with yourself. Is the offering solving a painful or urgent problem? Understanding that painful and urgent problems are the ones that people are going to fork out money for really quickly without you having to explain how dire their situation is because they're in pain right now. Okay. This doesn't mean that the not the nice to have is not a business that people would pay for, because the nice to haves are also like your escapism businesses. And sometimes people don't want to deal with the pain in a productive way. Sometimes they deal with the pain by seeking more pleasure or seeking pleasure. So maybe they're like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'm going to book a trip. So if you're a travel agent, this person comes straight to you. I hope that makes sense. So don't feel like if it's not a obviously painful and urgent problem that you can't go into business. It's just very important to know where you lie on the spectrum of the problems that you're solving. Again, pause, write the question down if you want to, or screenshot it, but write the answers as well. I think having the questions with you as you think of more answers, it might be easier to just go back to your screenshots, whatever. I know people really go back. We actually always save things and think we'll come back. We rarely go back. This is why I encourage you to just pause, do the work, answer the question, and then, you know, and then when the video is done, you're done as well. So we're off to question 2. Question 3. Pause here, and then I'll meet you at question 3. Would I myself be willing to spend money on this solution if I had the same problem? It's important. Would you spend money on the solution that you want to give other people? Because you need to be so convinced by the offer that you're giving other people. You need to be the person who's like, I am creating this because it didn't exist for me. Do you understand? Like, and if it existed for me, that's where I would have put my money. Because if you're not going to put your money, why must someone else spend money with you? And again, it goes back to you have to have done a thing, you know. We can't just be waking up and saying, this is what I know how to do, but you don't really know how to do it. So get very clear about, would you pay for the service that you want to offer others? Yep, pause the video, answer the question, and we are off to our next question. Question 4, are there people already trying to solve this in other ways, hiring someone, buying courses, investing time or money? So when you look at your business, are there people out there who are looking for what you're offering? Are there people out there who already offer what you want to offer? This is a good thing. If there are people who already do the business, who are in the business that you want to get into, this is a good thing. I know we are wired and conditioned to think, oh my gosh, that means the market is saturated, or that means all sorts of things. All that means is that you have proof of concept, the very thing that you need to be validating. So once we've got an offer, we're going to go into validation. And so you already know, because the business already exists, you already know that there is a market for this business that you want to go into. The only thing that you will be validating when you go into the validation phase is is there the market that you are looking for, the specific clients that you are looking to attract. That's what you're validating. But for example, if you wanted to make spinach bread and wanted to sell spinach bread, guess what? There's someone who already does that, right? There's someone who's already selling spinach bread. You can go look at how are they doing? What are their sales like? What is their marketing like? How many people buy spinach bread? Is it worth you to pursue and become competition for this person? Is it worth collaborating? Like those kind of things. So when you see that your business already exists out there, don't look at this as a bad thing, okay? Because if Blue Ribbon saw Sasco and was like, oh, we can't do bread because, Sasco exists. I'm sorry, what? People are going to pick you based on who you are. That's why it's so important to get clear about your journey here. Why are you in business? Why are you here? What led you here? Because the answers to those kind of questions and to these kind of questions are going to be what draws your ideal client or customer in. And you want that. You want people who are going to show up in a way that gels with who you are, and they show up because you gel with who they are. That makes business so much easier than having to work with people who don't even understand you. Okay. So are there people already trying to solve this in other ways? Okay. Are they people hiring someone to do what you want to do? Are there people buying courses for what you do? Are there people investing money or time into the business that you want to go into? All of these are good things, and you need to know if these things are happening. And then our final question, am I willing to pivot or refine my offer if real people tell me that they want something slightly different? Okay, so are you willing to adjust your offer to meet the needs of the people you would like to service? Okay, it seems like of course I am kind of question, but sometimes that's not really what the situation is. So for example, in my coaching, one of the things that would sometimes come up is, oh, could you maybe have coaching sessions on a Saturday? Or can you have coaching sessions at 7, like after 7 p.m., like basically later ones, right? And as much as I understand that people are moms and they've got things that are happening, and so maybe the only time that they can like kind of decompress and be like, right, let's have the session is when the kids have been fed and people have been put into bed. But I'm also a mom. Do you understand? So that for me was not something that I was willing to pivot or refine on. And it's important to know what are your non-negotiables? Because I'm also not having a session on a Saturday. Because Saturdays are for my family, they're for my kids. And the whole reason I am in the business where I have flexibility is so that I can show up for them. So I can't now create a situation where I'm I've created this work where I can tap in and be there for my kids, but then the very work is the one that's taking me away from them. Do you see how it doesn't add up? And then what I realized is that the people who really do need my help will find a way to fit themselves in. But also the only way you can do that is also if you know your competition. Are there lots of people who offer the kind of help that you would be offering? Because if they are, your answer, you might need to be a little more flexible. But if you know that, you know what, great, I've got a great service or a great product, I have great pricing, and I've got great testimonials, like people who work with me. Trust me, people will adjust their schedules to fit into yours. So it's very important to know, what are you not willing to compromise on? What are you willing to kind of give a little bit on, and whatever the case is. And so, for example, I don't agree to coaching after a certain time, but I will sometimes have that one Wednesday a week where that one Wednesday I'll take a 7 o'clock coaching call. So if you happen to get that slot, good for you, you know. But that's where it is. Okay. So, my honeys, these are the 5 questions that I need you to really, really dig deep and do the work on. Okay. Because once you've figured out your strongest offer, so after these 5 questions, I'm pretty sure that you've figured out what it is now that is your strongest offer. And this is what we're going to do next. You're going to soft launch your offer. I know it sounds scary. It doesn't have to be. So you've got your offer now. So let's say your offer is I help moms audit their websites for their business. Okay, so maybe you know how to go into a website and audit and kind of look at the user experience, and then you give a report to these moms. So that's what you're going to do. So this is what you're going to do. This is how you start, okay? You're either going to put a status up on WhatsApp and say what your offer is. So maybe, and you're going to choose the one that's you can fulfill quite quickly. So you can say, hi moms, or hi anyone who's starting a business or whatever. Let's say this is your offer. I help moms audit their websites before they launch their businesses online or whatever. So if you're interested, please send me a message, and then that's what they will do there on WhatsApp, the people who are looking for that help. Another way is, if you know 5 people who are going to launch their businesses, who've been working on their websites, and you know that they need the service that you're offering, you can reach out to them personally and say, hey, Intername, I'm actually doing a few audits for a few website audits for moms who are starting their businesses. I just wanted to let you know that I just wanted to reach out and let you know that this is what I'm doing. If you're interested, let me know so I can quickly do an audit for you. And then you can either do it for free for a testimonial, which is the next one as well. You can offer a short or free version of your service or product for testimonials. This is to test if people are like for your offer. Are people looking for what you're putting down? So you're just going to reach out. Please remember, it's not about being perfect. The goal here is not perfection. It is momentum though, because when you start doing something and you just get into the rhythm of doing it, stop being weird about people seeing you do it. Just reach out to people, because it's a very important as well to keep reminding yourself that you are what? You are helping, you're not selling. You're helping and not selling. So here's the homework. You're going to pick one offer that solves a clear problem, soft launch it using one of the methods I just shared. Pay close attention to reactions you get, okay? And you also, I don't know why I didn't put this here, after you've answered the 5 questions at the beginning and all of that, you're going to put your strongest offer in the comments. Why are you doing this? You're doing this so that as a collective, we can help you refine your offer. And I just want to say, can you guys engage in the comments? Help each other. Everyone must be learning. When you help someone, it clarifies the thing for you as well. The best way to have something stick is to teach it to someone else or to engage with it in more ways than one. And so you're going to learn, you're going to teach, and it's going to keep it and make it solid for you. So the other thing that's going to happen is after you've done all of this, that offer that you're going to go and soft launch, you're going to first soft launch it in the comments, okay? And we're going to help you refine and all of that stuff. So that's the homework for this week. And the mindset task is that before you post, remind yourself that I am here to help and not sell. Because the energy of being helpful is so powerful, because it really just says, I know something that might make your life easier. That's so awesome. That's such a beautiful thing, that it doesn't have to be weird to be like, yo, guys, I can help you with this. That's all you're doing. I can help you with this. I'm not selling you on anything. I hear you have a problem and I've got a solution for you. And I'm doing it to help you. Okay? That's the energy exchange that's happening here. So that's what I'm going to leave you with this week. Please do the work. Please engage in the comment section so that we really are getting to a point where we're moving forward and all of that good stuff. Before I let you go, I just wanted to remind you that you are doing so much better than you realize. Like, it takes a lot to actually sit down and be so honest with yourself about something that could change your life. It's really admirable that you are taking the time to do this for yourself and for your family. So just focus on staying honest and staying flexible and helping one person at a time, okay? Because it's one person who's going to tell the next person and so on, and that's how you build. You have got this, Mama. You've got this more than you think. Until next time, I wish you the courage to live the life of your dreams. Bye, Mama.